Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, November 17, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so before we even take a look at what's happening across the Atlantic, we must highlight the Western Pacific once again. Yesterday we highlighted the Western Pacific, and there are persons who are talking about why are we focusing on the Western Pacific and we're a Jamaican based channel. Guys, you do know that we have friends or relatives who live or work in this side of the world, right? Whether it be in Japan, which is right here, China, which is right here, Taiwan, or the Philippines, which got lashed by the typhoon yesterday or today for that matter. Guys, we have to keep updated with what's happening, checking on our friends or relatives, because especially with these systems passing through, we know how things can be. We lose connection with them for I don't know many weeks, and then we're wondering why. So we have to stay updated with the weather to see what's unfolding. And the thing about this is that the Western Pacific has been getting lashed for the past couple of weeks. As a matter of fact, here we have a post, and I couldn't believe it when I actually took a look, from Nahel Belgers, if I'm not butchering the name, where the Philippines have now been hit by 4 typhoons in the span of just 10 days. Can't say I recall ever seeing this before. And look at all of the typhoons that they've had. Well, this is the latest one that just came in. But look, they've been getting lashed from the northern portions, coming in from the east. So many typhoons. And we know typhoons, basically another name for hurricanes. Typhoons, they call them typhoons in the Western Pacific. They call them hurricanes in our portion of the basin. And we can see that they've definitely been getting in on a lot of typhoons for the past less than 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. And if we take a look at the very latest visible satellite images again, we can definitely see the sun is coming up on the Philippine side. We see the line right here associated with the sunlight coming in from right to left. So it is, I believe, after 8 a.m. their time in the Philippines. It's what, 7:14 p.m. here in Jamaica. Well, it's 8:14 a.m. in the Philippines right now. And I'm talking about Monday morning. So I'm pretty sure that given that the system crossed over during especially the night time on a Sunday, we're going to be having a lot more footage coming out highlighting the damage across the Philippines. But we already have damage coming in. I'll be showing that to you shortly. But if we take a look at the infrared, look at what it did exactly. It came in for sure. We saw the eye, and then as soon as it got over land, the eye definitely vanished. But we saw the deep convection, we saw the reds, we saw the blacks, we saw the purples. They've definitely been getting in on a lot of bad weather associated with this system. And as of right now, this is what it looks like. We can definitely see that most of the convection is more so off to the north of the system, off to the east of the system. We still see some kind of twisting or turning to the clouds right here. It's definitely trying to get its act together. Once again, over water. Wouldn't be surprised if it definitely makes it back to major hurricane status for sure. As of right now, the Euro and the GFS ensembles push the system off towards the west, then towards the southwest, maybe making landfall into Vietnam within the next 3 days. And even the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, that's their equivalent of the Hurricane Center that we have here, put it as well, show the same track in general. more of a westward track, then more of a southwestward track into Vietnam. As of right now, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center states that it's packing winds of 75 knots. When we take a look at the Saffir-Simpson wind scale, 75 knot winds, anywhere from 65 to 83 knot winds, are about the same as Category 1 hurricane. So it's a Category 1 right now. So it was a super typhoon packing wind of 113 to 137 or more knots. As you can see here, Category 4 to 5 are super typhoons. Category 1 to 3 are typhoons. In our neck of the woods, it's Category 1 to 2 that are hurricanes, and Category 3 to 5 that are major hurricanes. So we see the differences, as we've stated, not only the name being typhoon in the Western Pacific and hurricane in our portion of the basin, but even the wind speeds and the classifications of these systems for sure. And we definitely have the footage coming out of the damage. One right here from Volcaholic again, highlighting something from this morning, 5:31. Look at the strong winds and the heavy rainfall. Look at all of the damage. Definitely destroying what looks to be a roof. We see the palm trees swaying from right to left, the blinding rainfall that was taking place. We have more footage coming out. Yes, the system is called Man-Yi, but there's another name for it. It's Pepito that we highlighted in yesterday's video. So yes, in the Western Pacific, they have two different names for the same system, depending on where exactly they live. And we see another footage, another video here highlighting footage of the damage. Boy, we see the strong wind, we see the heavy rainfall, we see the trees falling, we see all of the debris. This is what these major hurricanes do with people huddled up, taking shelter. Boy, we hope everybody stayed safe. We don't want to hear anything coming out throughout the next 24 hours about loss of life. We also have another one right here highlighting more footage coming out. We have a lot of it for sure. We see people here being rescued in a boat. Another one right here, lots of inundation, some people on their roof right there. Look at this one. This is as bad as it gets. Look at this one, lots of inundation. The same super typhoon for sure. We even have one right here highlighting the storm surge that took place. Look, we know storm surge has to do with the waves coming over onto the land, causing a lot of inundation, a lot of flooding, and that was exactly what took place by the coastline for sure. Hopefully everyone stayed safe. And then finally, let's highlight these right here. All right, so finally we have see, we have many videos on. All right, let's go. Finally right here we have a post from Global Crisis stating on November 15, 2024, storm Pepito Man-Yi caused a significant storm surge in Lower Tiwi Albay, Philippines. Let's see what took place. Here we have another video highlighting footage of the storm surge. All of this water is coming from the sea. Here we have a boat being washed into land. This is storm surge, guys. Storm surge is bad. That's having to do with the waves from the sea coming inland and rushing in like a whole river in general. Best believe this boat is coming from the sea and is pushing inland for sure. And boy, we just hope that everybody stayed safe. All right, so let's switch gears now and talk about what's happening across our neck of the woods. The U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, not showing anything, only the leftovers of Sarah, now back down to a tropical depression as of the last update from the 3 p.m. update. Actually, I was expecting an update this evening, but it's 7:20 p.m. now and there's nothing out from the Hurricane Center, so I'm guessing that this could be the last update about this system. Let's see what unfolds. As of right now, we can see Sierra. Let's reload these images that we have the very latest. We see the clouds of tropical depression Sierra. I'm pretty sure that this right here, somewhere in here, is the core of the system. A deep convection, the reds, the blacks, the purples for sure. Lots of heavy weather across portion of northern Guatemala, section of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, getting into some of the action. Section of Belize definitely got lashed today. We still had some amount of lingering rainfall across section of Honduras too. And if we take a look at the Euro and the GFS spaghetti model ensembles, definitely in consensus about making it back over the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. And given how warm the waters are, I wouldn't be surprised if the intensity gets bumped up a bit as of right now in terms of the intensity. Most of the models keep it down here below tropical storm status, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually makes it up there again, especially if there's a lack of wind shear to tear the thunderstorms apart. As of right now, the Hurricane Center has it making it to a tropical depression by 12 a.m. on Monday. So I guess this should be the last of it according to the Hurricane Center, midnight tonight. So in the next, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 hours from now, it should die out. As of right now, it's packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour. So it's definitely a tropical depression for sure, moving towards the west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. And we see the track that the system definitely took. Yesterday, the Euro ensembles had it more so pushing towards the northwest, more so clipping the northern portion of Belize. The GFS had it somewhere in here, clipping the central portion of Belize. So I guess it threaded the needle between the Euro and the GFS. That's the track that it took. Definitely smack dab in the middle of Belize for sure in terms of the center of circulations passage. So they definitely gotten on some amount of heavy rainfall for sure. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to be seeing a lot of footage coming out of the damage associated with the system tomorrow coming out of Belize. We have a lot of friends or relatives who live or work in Belize for sure. So we're going to be getting a lot of information from that country. And we can see that regarding the rainfall forecast, there's still some more rainfall to come. Today is November 17, 2024. And as of the Hurricane Center's latest update, they've stated that the rainfall that's still to come is valid from November 17 to November 20. So even when the system is over here on the Gulf of Mexico side, midnight tonight, we're still going to be picking up more rainfall across these spots: Western Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Eastern Guatemala, and Belize, as well as the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, until all is said and done and the system is fully out of here. And we still have a lot more footage coming out on Twitter about the inundation that took place. Another one right here from Volcaholic showing an elder being rescued. In general, look at the knee-high murky water that they have to be trotting through. Another one right here highlighting the murky water that's covered most of these homes. In general, these roads, this is a road right here, this is not a river. We have a lot of images like this. Murky water covering entire neighborhoods, entire fields. And right here we have another one highlighting even storm surge. So we can see that even weak tropical storms can cause some amount of storm surge. We see the waves coming in for sure. We see the seawater for sure coming into to a coastal area. Here we have another video highlighting what seems to be a river. This one here stating, due to heavy rains caused by Storm Sarah, the river passes through the capital city of Tegucigalpa and Comayagüela, and we can definitely see the river right here, and some of the water has definitely made it over onto the road for sure. And we also have another one right here, the river right here under a bridge. Boy, we see some vehicles and some people on this bridge. I wouldn't chance it at all, but look at all of the murky water. Definitely some heavy water pushing by because all of this rainfall. More images coming in with the inundation for sure. Look at all of this. Persons looking marooned or stranded. This is what these storm systems do. Another one right here showing flooding that took place. Seems to be a river coming over to where it seems like we have some kind of a tower right here. And then finally we have this footage right here, another one showing river water coming over a bridge for sure. Boy, we just hope that everybody is safe. Last I heard this morning, according to what was posted on our other social media platforms from the Weather Channel, was that the death toll so far was at 1 person. Hopefully it does not rise. We're going to be giving you the updates regarding that, as well as what's happening in Belize, as well as what's happening in the Philippines on Monday evening. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the next 7 days in terms of what the Euro and the GFS models are showing in terms of some rainfall for our portion of the basin. We've already spoken about it yesterday that this week is expected to be drier than normal. Little to no rainfall is expected, and we're going to be focusing our attention on the timestamp right here at the top as usual. We're just going to be going on to the next 168 hours, and we're also going to be focusing our attention right here on the Caribbean. For reference, we have Jamaica right here, and we're going to be focusing our attention on the key on the right. We're looking at the greens into the yellows that represent some amount of rainfall. So let us see what the next 7 days has in store for us. Alright, so as we go out in time, we head into Monday, and we see little to no rainfall at all across Jamaica. More whites than anything else, which means no rainfall or little to none at all across our little island. Tuesday into Wednesday, much of the same. Thursday, much of the same. But we see the moisture starting to creep in from west to east, associated with a frontal system coming in. And we see that it should be across portion of the island by Saturday, so by the next weekend for sure. And then we're going to be stopping it right there at the end of the 168 hours. We start to see even more moisture building across the waters of the Central Caribbean to the south of Hispaniola. Let us see what the GFS model has in store. So as we head into Monday, much of the same, like what the Euro was showing, more whites than anything else for Jamaica. Little to no rainfall expected. And then as we head into Friday and Saturday, we see the moisture associated with that frontal system right there off to the west of us for sure coming in. But clearly the GFS wants to keep most of that moisture off of us, making it push back towards the west into the Cayman and Cuba. We already see some of that moisture that we spoke about to the south of Hispaniola coming in. So at least we have some consensus. Even if we don't get the frontal system coming in to bring some amount of rainfall, like what the Euro was showing, both of them are showing some amount of moisture to the south of Hispaniola, and more than likely a lot of that is going to be pushing westward. So eventually we're going to get rainfall. Not much rainfall this week, but it looks like it's going to be starting up again next week. And I'm pretty sure that by the end of this week, many persons are going to be missing the rainfall again, given how hot and dry this week is going to be. And we can see that the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that there's not going to be much rainfall in store for Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba at all. We see the dark reds, the purples, the pinks that represent anywhere from 2 all the way up to 4 inches of rainfall for portion of the Eastern Caribbean, portion of Western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, portions of El Salvador, Honduras for sure going to be getting on more rainfall. But we see that there's some differences in terms of what Jamaica has in store. Yes, the Euro is showing some amount of rainfall, the greens, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, but the GFS is not. So we definitely have some differences. We'll see how that actually plays out. And in terms of the accumulated precipitation, we see the same thing at a closer view. Euro has the rainfall across portion of the island. GFS does not at all. Definitely going to be an interesting 7 days. I'm more inclined to believe what the GFS has to show for sure. And if we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see this blue spike line right here associated with that cold front. Yes, we have a cold front right here, reaching all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of Hispaniola and Jamaica. And we can see a ridge of high pressure right here to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And we see this line right here associated with the intertropical convergence zone. And we know that when we take a look at the visible satellite images, we see a lot of cloud cover across the intertropical convergence zone. That's because all of the air from the northern hemisphere is meeting with the air from the southern hemisphere and all of this is piling up and causing cloud showers and thunderstorms. And some of this moisture has been coming into portion of the Windward Islands. They've definitely been getting some amount of heavy rainfall, lots of flooding for sure, especially across section of Trinidad today. They've been getting in on some of the rainfall. We can also see the clouds associated with that frontal system. Most of the clouds to the south of Jamaica, to the south of Hispaniola right there, reaching all the way up into the Leeward Islands for sure. And the clouds associated with Sierra still across portions of Central America. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus your attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday, November 17, 2024. It was stated that parts of some northeastern parishes would have received some rainfall on Sunday. And if you remember yesterday's video, I highlighted that the air would have been piling up across sections of some southern parishes, and that with the upper level winds coming in from the north, they would have had some rainfall because of the daytime heating for a section of some southern parishes. So even though the Euro and the GFS weren't showing that rainfall, I still highlighted that we were still possibly to get some amount of rainfall on the south coast. And just for reference, you know, northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Southern parishes, you know, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? As early as 10:46 a.m., the visible satellite images were posted right here on our Twitter page. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page or Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page or Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page or Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page or Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the visible satellite images were posted, and they highlighted the flow of clouds. Look at the low level flow from the northeast. That's definitely a setup for a more moist weather for northeastern Jamaica, Portland, St. Anne, St. Mary for sure. We still had some leftover clouds pushing in from west to east across the island, associated with the leftovers of the drought that was induced by Saharan for sure. But by the end of the day, most of that dissipated. And then during the afternoon now, the visible satellite image was posted at around 3:41 p.m. highlighting that we still had some clouds getting in on the overcast skies, if not some isolated showers across sections of St. Mary, Portland. And then we also had the clouds starting to build across sections of some southern parishes, just as we stated in yesterday's video. Section of St. Andrew, section of St. Catherine, so too St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland got in on some of the afternoon rainfall. And we definitely confirmed it with the live cam from C Jamaica's YouTube channel showing halfway through at around 3:47 p.m. We definitely saw the rainfall that was taking place, persons walking with their umbrellas. Definitely saw the light to moderate rainfall, nothing too significant at that time, but we definitely saw the cloudy conditions, people in their vehicles going about their business with their windshield wipers on for sure. So we definitely had some amount of rainfall across the corporate area. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely make out the clouds definitely hugging the coastline of Portland, St. Mary, the rainfall that took place across Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland got into some of the action as well. In terms of the infrared, didn't see much in the way of thunderstorms at all. Just a brief high cold cloud up being sheared off towards the south, right here across St. Elizabeth. Just a brief isolated thunderstorm right there. But if we take a look at the crossroads cam at 4:53, guys, look at the heavy rainfall that was lashing crossroads. Can you see the inundation? Can you see the flooding taking place on the roads? Just to show you that we don't need a whole system to cause heavy rainfall and flooding. Just a brief isolated shower caused all of this flooding and all of this runoff. Look at the people definitely right here at Mothers sheltering. Look at all of the water running from north to south. Look at the drum being washed away right there. Like, come on. This just goes to show you that we don't need major systems or anything like that to cause heavy rainfall and flooding. This was just a brief isolated afternoon shower, and the Euro and the GFS models definitely missed it. But given the pattern that I saw in the wind forecast, the northeasterly flow and the upper level winds, I knew that it would definitely favor some afternoon rainfall across section of some southern parishes. So even although the models didn't show it, I definitely saw it. I would definitely had some rainfall across crossroads for sure. Clearly looking to the north towards the hills of St. Andrew, not seeing much happening at all. So it was definitely more so confined to section of maybe New Kingston, halfway through crossroads side right there. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They show live streams 24/7 of halfway through crossroads, the panoramic city view, Flat Bridge, the Kingston Harbor, you name it. And they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So I subscribe today so that I don't miss out, just in case they install a camera near you. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does paint quite a picture of where we had the rainfall today for sure. Definitely across portions of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, sections of St. Catherine, and section of St. Andrew got in on some of the rainfall as well. Now we definitely have confirmation from some of our subscribers here on our YouTube page. Djanay 8415 stating rainfall in Portmore. Winnie Mark 550 St. Andrew rain 1 hour ago. Natalie Cardoza 33214. It just falling and stop, fall and stop. We have realm_JA on our Instagram page stating getting some heavy rain at this moment, Portmore. And we also have rose.b.w overcast this side of Portmore, and Anto_Netty_89 stating it's currently raining in my area of St. Andrew. And if we take a look at the very latest infrared still image, let's see what's happening across Jamaica right now. Sure that it's much of nothing. 0025 UTC is actually 7:25 p.m. So this just came out 13 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:38 p.m. now. So we can make out some milky clouds right here across the southern portion of Clarendon, maybe some clouds right here off the southwestern coast of St. Elizabeth, maybe some clouds across Negril, some clouds to the south of Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Nothing too significant happening right now. And if we take a look at the very latest Cuban Doppler radar image, let's see, because it seems like the images have been glitching out a lot these days. It glitched out today at around 2:10 p.m. But at that time we weren't seeing much happening across the island. Let's see if it's fixed when it's reloaded. Alright, it's not fixed. It's reloaded. Still not fixed. Hopefully they get it sorted out. But I think we can make out some isolated shores in the greens right there across section of St. Elizabeth, right there on the west coast of Jamaica as well. If we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, not seeing much happening across Jamaica right now. Maybe some isolated shores right there across eastern Cuba. And I guess that's basically it. Regarding the Cayman radar, not seeing much happening across the Cayman Islands. Just some brief isolated shores to the south and west of the island. In the greens, blues, and yellows represent some light to moderate rainfall. Taking a look at the latest crossroads cam, we can see the ground is still soaking wet for sure. Definitely glistening. Persons walking about, going their business. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a cool night down there in Crossroads for sure. They're definitely going to be sleeping like a baby, given the heavy downpour that lashed the area this afternoon. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Monday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Monday when calculated. That's 1 p.m. on Monday. And we can definitely see the cool air associated with the backside of this cold front. Most of it seems to be right here, going to be affecting portions of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, the Turks and Caicos, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Not so much Jamaica. We see just a little trailing, a little tongue of it coming into position on northeastern Jamaica. But boy, that's just it. For 1 p.m. on Monday, not seeing much. We see more grays across the island than anything else. degrees represents average temperatures, and we'll definitely take it. We know the average temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica are around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 88 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31.1 degrees Celsius. So we'll definitely take that for Jamaica's temperature on Monday. And if that's going to be a bit too hot for you, try to beat the heat with these tips. When you're outside, seek shade, eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruit. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you are feeling tired. So take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And finally, I cannot stress enough how important it is to always stay hydrated. Put away the sugary drinks. Drink water instead. Your body is made up of a huge percentage of water for a reason. Always replenish it with more water than anything else. If you take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, we can see that from North America into the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Caribbean, South America into Central America, all the way back to North America, we're in the clear. All the Saharan dust has definitely dissipated, has definitely dwindled down. All we see is some slight burns right here closer to Africa across the eastern main development region. That's what we want to see. All of the Saharan dust has definitely gone for sure. And we're indeed grateful that we're not seeing all of that strong or that vigorous plume. The dark browns that we know means very hazy skies that can cause asthma problems or sinusitis issues in some persons. So we're indeed grateful that for 2 p.m. on Monday, we are all in it. The clear Jamaica is right here. Definitely enjoying the clear weather. In terms of the wave forecast for tomorrow, much of the Caribbean still getting on those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues, which basically mean anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because the winds across the Caribbean should be averaging anywhere from 5 all the way up to 20 knots. We see the flow right here across the eastern Caribbean from the southeast. We see the flow right here across Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic from the northeast. We see the flow between the windward passage right here. That's the windward passage between Cuba and Haiti right there. Into Jamaica from the northeast, across the western Caribbean, more so from the east-southeast, curving northward into the Gulf of Mexico's coastal areas, the Gulf states of the United States right there. But regarding the close-up of Jamaica, we see basically a similar pattern to what we had today. More of a northeasterly kind of flow again. So although the models are still not showing much in the way of rainfall, let me just reiterate that we could still get in on some amount of relief rainfall across sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Let's see if it actually happens, or let's see if the models are actually right. And let me say again that we could still get in on some daytime heating rainfall in the areas that we have little to no wind tomorrow. Wherever we have the blues, that's where we're going to be having little to no wind. That's where the air is going to be piling up. So we might just have that daytime heating causing some more rainfall like what we had today across maybe sections of Western St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. Don't be upset if you don't get anything happen at all, because that's exactly what's in the forecast. The forecast is for little to nothing to be happening. But given that the upper level wind shear is still coming in from the northeast for tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some pop-up showers across southern Jamaica again that nobody forecasted. As of right now, the Euro and the GFS models for 8 a.m. on Monday show little to nothing. We see more whites than anything else that represent no rainfall at all. And even during the afternoon, 3 p.m., we see more whites. Well, we see more whites on the GFS than on the Euro. If we remember yesterday, the Euro is a bit more on point with the rainfall forecast. For tomorrow at 3 p.m, we see some dots of blues across Western St. Thomas, Eastern St. Andrews, Manchester, the border of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. As of right now, in terms of the consensus, nothing in store. I don't even know what to tell you in terms of what's going to be expected. Let's see if we actually get some rainfall tomorrow. My bet is on some northeastern parishes getting in on some morning rainfall, and then some maybe isolated shores across sections of some southern parishes, not everywhere. And boy, I wouldn't even be surprised if we don't get anything at all, given how dry the era is going to be. And we see that the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that there's not much that is expected. The Euro showing their colors in the greens, the GFS not showing much in the way of rainfall at all. We haven't seen a 24-hour forecast like this in a long time. Little to no rainfall at all. Let's see if we actually get nothing at all. Either way, we're in the month of November. We're starting to wrap up our final month of the rainy season. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 50 millimeters of rainfall for the month. I'm definitely sure that we've already exceeded that. That's almost, what, 2 inches of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to at least 5 inches of rainfall. That's 125 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to know what your specific parish receives throughout the year in terms of rainfall, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice little graphic right here that does the calculation in terms of the rainfall that we receive on the rain gauge from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of clouds twisting and turning away associated with the remnants of Tropical Storm Sierra, still bringing some amount of rainfall to portions of El Salvador, Nicaragua, sections of Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, still getting on some amount of rainfall, and more to come within the next 12 to 24 hours. We can see the backside of this cold front right here. More dry weather than anything else. We'll see if we actually get some rainfall out of it by tomorrow. We see a lot of clouds bring some rainfall to portions of Puerto Rico eastward into the Windward Islands. Definitely getting on some rainfall today. Even some flash flooding that was reported across portions of Trinidad as well. And if we take a closer look at the northeastern Caribbean, let us take a look at the Doppler radar images. We can see some amount of rainfall in and around the Leeward Islands for sure. We see the greens, we see the yellows represent some moderate heavy rainfall from Dominica northward, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, the US and British Virgin Islands. Well, more so the US Virgin Islands than the British Virgin Islands. We can see some rainfall in and around Puerto Rico, especially northern Puerto Rico for sure. And this is as of 7:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if we take a look at the images from earlier, we can see more of a west or northwesterly to southeasterly flow across Puerto Rico and the US Virgin Islands. We can also make all that rainfall right here in and around Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, look at the bout of rainfall. Lots of rainfall in and around Dominica, southward, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Definitely getting drenched with some amount of moderate to heavy rainfall as we speak, with the greens and the yellows. Grenada getting in on some heavy rainfall too. We see Barbados definitely smack dab in the middle of everything right now. Rainfall to the west, rainfall to the east. Definitely gotten on some rainfall earlier though. Looking southward, definitely see some rainfall across portion of Tobago, some rainfall across sections of eastern Trinidad as we speak. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we see the rainfall that we spoke about to the south and west of the Cayman Islands. You can also see some isolated shores across the Colombian radar, as well as sections of the Venezuelan, well, more so the ABC Islands radar, showing that rainfall across sections of northwestern Venezuela and to the north of the ABC Islands too. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, let us see. I don't know why it's closing my images. Alright, so here we go. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS, they're both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. And we can definitely see where most of the rainfall is expected across the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, sections of Colombia, Venezuela, the ABC Islands, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana getting in on some of the rainfall too. We can also see a lot of rainfall going to be in store for portions of Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, sections of St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Bart's, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, the US and British Virgin Islands, sections of Puerto Rico definitely going to be in for some amount of rainfall, with the isolated showers definitely in store for Haiti, the Dominican Republic, as well as portion of Jamaica according to the Euro. The GFS not seeing much rainfall across Jamaica at all. Not even the Cayman Islands are going to be getting on the rainfall. And we know that when both maps from the year and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.